Hi, guys. So, I want to talk about some telekinesis. Um, no, it sounds crazy, um, but the only thing that really stops anyone from achieving it is their disbelief. Um, Funny enough, I I believe in the power of thought, and I believe that you give off energy. Um, that being said, your thoughts lead to feelings, lead to emotions, lead to energies that you put out. A smile is contagious. That's an example. A laugh is contagious. When people cry, you're more prone to cry. Um, if people are sad, it makes you sad. If people are irritated, it makes you irritated. It rubs off. Um, it's kind of the same concept as karma, but instead it's energy. I don't know how else to describe it besides you get what you give. And so, if you were to put this test to the theory, if you repeatedly tell yourself, almost like brainwashing yourself, that something it will happen or something is in the making. For example, I'm going to meet a great guy, or I'm going to make a lot of money somehow, or I'm going to find the perfect job, or just anything. When you truly believe it and you put your mind to it, and not only do you believe it, but you know that it's going to happen. Um, Once you have that belief, um, you have that not only that motivation to do so and to get on the roll with proceeding to get shit done, but you have to have that belief, because if you don't have that belief and you have that strive, you can still try and fail. You have to believe that it can happen or that it's going to happen. That being said, funny enough, I didn't just randomly start, using a side wheel. Uh, Sorry, there's a stink bug in here. Um, you know, because of my thoughts, it made me think, you know, what if all that we're told, isn't necessarily true? And what if we can use the rest of our brain? And what if we can use that in our energies that we put out? Because it's obvious we give out energy. Um, what if we can use that in different ways? What if we're more connected with the earth than we thought? What if we can do air bending and all that? Water bending, telekinesis, just moving anything, just basically just warping reality with your mind is all it really is. And if you don't believe that it can be done, then it won't happen. If you try to spin a side wheel and you have this thought in the back of your head that it's not going to work, that what if it's just, what if it's just the friction? What if it's just sound waves? You're having all these thoughts in your head, like, scientifically, this is impossible. That doubt that has been instilled upon you, and, ever since you grow up, you learn, magic isn't real. All that stuff's not real, Santa's not real, fairy tales and whatnot. But if you hadn't had that doubt and uncertainty instilled upon you to begin with, maybe then your mind would be more open to the possibilities and wouldn't have that disbelief. So it'd be more open to the belief of it being possible. Now, I believe in all that. There's so much more I could ramble on about, but I'll get to the most, the subject of this video is just basically, side wheels and how I started to try and practice with my telekinesis. Well, not try, I succeeded, but so I'm going to go ahead and cover all the bases. There's no fans in this room. There's no vents. I covered the vent, the only vent in here. I'll show you. So this was the vent. I put my trusty robe on it. I'll show you. Now you can see my... But now look. You can put that there. Hopefully we don't start a fire. So, no airflow. As you see, because my hair is not moving. So, I started trying telekinesis when I would use a balloon, and I would try basically to just hold that balloon and levitate it in my hands and make it float. And I would just, I started off just picturing it in my head, picturing it floating, visualizing it, and then I would believe it was possible. And, I would try to direct that energy that I would feel in my chi, basically in the center of my body. I would just direct all of my energy to that point and out and through my hands, which were kind of like outlets for my energy. So I was not very successful to begin with. I did get it to move, but I did not get it to lift off of my hands. And so I wanted, I wanted more insight. Is telekinesis real? Is this even possible? Because at that time, I wanted some reassurance that I wasn't the only one and that, I wasn't just crazy. So I looked it up on YouTube and I watched a whole bunch of telekinesis and airkinesis and all sorts of videos and they show me how to make, I don't know if it's a psi wheel or a psi wheel, whatever, but you just make this little tiny windmill thing out of paper. I think this was a receipt to begin with. And you somehow make like a needle or a little spinny device with a point. Some people use pencils. Some people use foam cubes at the bottom and whatnot, and they stick a needle in it or whatever works for you. It's all the same. It's all little tiny windmills. That's all it is, little tiny windmills. So basically, you make your little tiny windmill. This is a candle, and it has a paper clip a straightened out paper clip or something of that nature, and a folded up receipt, and it goes right here. Okay, and then it spins like a little windmill. Now, if air hits it, it spins, of course. But that's why you close off all the vents and you make sure there's no airflow in the room. And you don't wave your arms like frantically. It really doesn't take much to make it to move. And the thing is, you can't get frustrated with it and you can't start having doubts. That slows your progress. If you practice a little bit every day, meditate before you're practicing, because that helps focus, that helps concentrate. It's not necessary, but it helps. And you try a little bit every day and you get stronger and stronger. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the gist of it, just a short clip of the psi wheel. And I will post more because lately I've been trying to levitate the psi wheel, and that's been fun. So far, I've been getting it to lift up a lot on the corners, and it's been moving a lot. Sometimes, most of the time, it stays still and it shakes like it's trying to lift. But You can tell the difference between pushing and pulling. You push the side wheel to make it move, and you pull it to try to levitate it, unless you push from underneath. It's all very complicated, but it's possible. And with practice, it'll happen.